Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. You might have noticed I set a bunch of my videos to private recently, but probably not. But the reason for that is I just really don't like my old videos, so I'm just gonna try to start fresh, like with a clean slate. It's gonna be good. Alright, so today, you probably already read this, but this is gonna be like a pirate ship type tutorial, but it's not really gonna be a tutorial. It's gonna be more of like a guide. So I'm not gonna give exact dimensions. I'm just gonna like build it and explain like my methodology, so you can apply that for yourself, building your own stuff. And you don't have to follow it. That's okay. I'm just putting this out there because I like making this stuff. So what you're gonna do is so the main block for your hull, you're just gonna grab that. This is the palette that I'm gonna be using for my pirate ship. You can choose whatever palette you like. This is just the one I'm using. So where you want the middle of your ship to be, you're gonna, excuse my voice by the way, I'm a little stuffed up today. Where you want the middle of your ship to be, you're just gonna put down a lily pad. And then what I do is underneath, I'll build down a couple of blocks. Not too many, but a couple. And then you just break all those. And then, if you can, you try to keep them all facing the same direction, but you don't have to. And then, so, the front of the ship is going to be facing out. So this is going to be the back. So what I usually do is I'll go out like 3, then 2, and then I'll just kind of, like you want to make it look like a natural curve. So you make it you make it go up and out, but the out decreases by 1 each time until eventually you're just building straight up. So that's going to be the back to our ship. That seems about right. And then with this one you're going to go out like 3, or let's go 4 because we want the front to come up a little bit slower. And then we'll do 3 and 2, then 1, and then we'll just do 2, 1 more, then 1, and then we'll just kind of come out here. That's a nice shape, and it's a little bit lower than the back, which we kind of want. And then yeah, so now you've got the right shape that you want for the hull, and now it's time to decide how far out you want. So what I'll usually do is I'll build like a kind of frame, and like as you're building, you just kind of want to like look around like from all the angles so you can get it right. All right, now we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so I ended up moving this like more towards the middle, to the middle back-ish, because we want this to be like the widest the boat gets, but it gets kind of like small. So we're just gonna mirror. I will build like more frame to the front. I do it every couple of blocks, and then that way it's a better guide for what we're building the ship out of. So this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then once that's done, we're gonna build out some more frames. Okay, so there's been a brief hiccup. I ended up building out a bunch of the frame, and I didn't really like it, so I kind of broke it, and I'm gonna try again. Which brings me to like an important point. When you're building and you want it to look good, it's always okay to break it and try again if you don't like how it looks, even if it takes a lot of work. Like that doesn't make you less of a good builder or anything. Like, if you look at all the people that are really good at building, like all the YouTubers, they always like take their stuff down and try again like all the time. Just like look at Hermitcraft and what they're doing. The one thing I did like was on the back here, this little bit of frame. This like where this space would be where the captain's quarters are. So I like how that came out. So I'm just gonna jump back in and try to build up the frame again. Okay, so I ended up doing half of the frame, and I like it pretty much. It's got like a nice teardrop shape. It's gonna be a really speedy pirate ship. And so now I'm gonna show you guys how to build the front end, like the kind of like the shape that, you know, like it's gotta go back and out at the same time, and it's gotta be the right ratio. So everybody has a different method for this, but I'm gonna show you guys a strategy that I've had the most luck with in the like doing some quick math here, in the 8 or 9 years that I've been playing Minecraft for. So we're just gonna start, we're gonna do this side first, and then I'm gonna mirror everything over in like a clip. So we're gonna start by going out like that, and then we're gonna come forward till it meets up with this one, and then we're gonna keep doing that like so. Alright, so when I filled in this little gap here, it ended up, so like, this is to be expected in boats. It throws, like, it kind of throws off the ratio. Like, it curves in really abrupt and then it goes out. So what you want to do is you just kind of want to, like, make that a little bit nicer of a transition, I guess. So now that looks much better. Whoops. The bottom side could use some work. And so, like, I'm just trying to give you the vague shape of this. You can, like, touch it up and all that however you want. But, yeah, now we've got, like, this kind of, like, framework on that one side. It kind of looks like a whale skeleton if you look at it at the right angle. So, yeah, I'm just going to mirror it over real quick to this side. Okay, we're back. And, so I mirrored the frame of the hull, and I made some adjustments. I kind of moved everything like in a little bit. It looks like I messed up on this one, on that piece even too. So next I'll fix that in a sec. But next we're gonna do the back part. Once you get the front and the back done, you just fill in the rest, and it's really easy. Then you can move on to the really fun stuff. So I filled in like the frame, and then what you'll notice is, so on the inside you can see what the original like filling in was. It was just like this straight thing, but then after I went out and I added some curve to it so it looked more natural. It wasn't just like flat. And this is important when you're building ships, to make it like feel more like realistic, instead of just like, yeah, it's in the shape of a ship. Like this way it looks like the actual curve of a hull. And like when you look at it now, probably should have filled this in. When you look at it now, it's like wow. Like if you just saw this without seeing the tutorial, you might be like, wow, I don't know how I could like build that. But I mean, probably not. You guys are probably good builders. But now it's like, huh, I guess I see how. But now there's an issue where you can see where the frame was, and that kind of sticks out. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna kind of go in and switch that to the forward facing wood blocks, the fishes. Why can I not scoop them up? Maybe I need a bucket of water. It doesn't work. Alright, I guess we're just gonna have to dry them up. Now I feel like an awful person. Things a lot darn creative where you can't scoop them up. So we just get some sponges and just... This only really works in creative. You're gonna have to be a lot more smart about how you use it, about how you use your sponges in survival. because they're really hard to get. It might not be wise to just blow through them all. Oh yeah, my skin is all weird right now. I'm just an orb of bubbles. Alright, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I built the hole, and then I had to go to breakfast with my family. It was really fun. And then that afternoon, I just kind of totally lost the motivation to do it. I'm so ADHD, I was really excited to build this, and that shouldn't be like that. And then I totally, my brain was like, you know what? We don't want to do this anymore. So, and I didn't want to like make a video if like my motivation wasn't in there. So I waited a little bit, and then I waited a little longer, and it's been about a month. But yeah, I just released a covered wagon tutorial. You should check that out if you haven't. But yeah, finally got the motivation to do it, so I'm gonna do it right now. First thing I'm gonna do is put in the floors. And then, so I usually do this about like so it leaves like 2 blocks, no more than that, except maybe a half block. I use slabs for boats, cause just cause the quarters can get like so tight inside the boats. And then, so that's gonna be level 1. Down here will be the first floor. And then up top we'll put another one right there. And then that'll be level 2. So just like in real life, if you've never been on like a boat before, like from like long ago, the ones now are a little more comfy, but like even like in boats from World War II, I highly recommend going on one of them, but like it's really cramped. So I'm only leaving 2.5 blocks, both for design reasons and for accuracy reasons. So it's a little bit squished, but we can fit in 2 layers that way, and it's a little bit more realistic. So I'm gonna cut away right now, and then when I get back, those floors will be magically in place. Go. Okay. I made the floors. So it's a lot of oak. You'll notice though, the floors in this back section are different from the floors in like the main hall, and that is to be expected because this is kind of like a special area. I made like a little staircase there. I didn't bring it all the way out here, and there's a reason for that. I'll get to that in a sec. But yeah, there's also a downstairs, and we can get to that, but first we need to figure out where we're gonna put the masts. So we know we're gonna put one up here. So we'll just mark that out. And that'll be going out like forwards. And then I'm thinking we put one here. We'll go up about that high. See how that looks. Yeah, that's good, I think. Maybe we'll go like 2 blocks forward with it. So with masts, there's never really like a specific measurement. You just gotta, it's a lot of like breaking the mast and putting it back and stepping back and like looking. Yeah, that's good. So we're gonna have a mast up there. And then right here, let's say right there. Maybe let's go back about 4 blocks. And we want to go a lot higher with that one. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think I'm gonna bring both of them up also, but the spacing's good. These things, you forget until you actually see one of them. Pirate ships are just like really cool to me, like these old ships and like the clippers too. There's like where I live, it's like near like a port, like a major port, and so every year we have like a festival where all these like ships come in, including like Navy ships and like all different kinds of boats, and also these like pirate ships, old kinds of ships. And you forget, like you don't really realize till you actually see one. Like to this day, I still know how they just tip over. Actually, that's a lie, I do. It's because usually they have like a massive keel on the bottom that stretches down like 20 feet, balances stuff out. But that's beside the point. They have really tall masts. So I'll probably raise those up also. Like, I'm just gonna stretch this a little bit further. You want to make it so it looks like it's too tall, like the mast. So it looks like it's barely too tall. And then that's when you know you've done it right. So then we're gonna do one more in the back here. We'll probably do it like, we'll just mark that out there. And that's not gonna go out, that's gonna go up. It's just gonna be shorter, and it's like a triangle shape. And just, I'm gonna say one thing. The way I like to do sails is I like to have like triangle pieces like that go like that, and then I also have the sails that like you traditionally see that go out, and then like it's a big rectangle basically. I put both of those on. So basically about let's try 3 blocks in between, and then we'll go right up until 3 blocks in between. Yeah, that's good. And then we're gonna come out 2 blocks on either side. And then we're just gonna punch a hole there. And then we're gonna go down a level. Oh yeah, floors in here too. I made another floor. I didn't slack off. And then even in here, this is gonna be like, I'm gonna build some hammocks in here. It's gonna be like where everybody sleeps. There's gonna be a ladder right there. It's gonna be great. All right, and then it's gonna go all the way through. If you look at a lot of old ships, not all of them, but a lot of them, usually like the bigger ones will have something like this. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna place the trapdoors like this. Yeah, that looks right. And then so you're just gonna crouch on the end of each of these. You wanna crouch so that if you're not crouching, you'll just open the trapdoor. But if you crouch, then you're not gonna open it. You'll be good. And then the same thing on the other side. And then for this, we'll just go back like this. I'm just not good at my placing right now. So it looks like that. You can place them however you want. That's just how I like to do it. And it looks like a wooden grate so that you can see through. And like usually the way it works is it wouldn't open up like that on real ships. Like the whole thing would open up and they'd like lower cargo through. It's really cool. But that's not how Minecraft works. So we're just gonna leave it closed so that it doesn't look weird. And so I'm gonna do that on the next layer down, and I'm gonna take another thing I'm gonna do in the next cut is that I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna place it around the edges like that. Alright, I'm gonna snap and it's gonna be the next clip. 3, 2, 1. That was a bad snap. 3, 2, 1. Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna not gonna snap into it. I'm just gonna cut to the next one. Alright, we're back. So, a couple things. I just saw the big one, the elephant in the room. I didn't really like the way the strip spruce looked as a mast. So I changed it to the to stripped acacia to match the with the trapdoors a little bit better, make them part of the palette, so it didn't really look like it was our only choice with the trapdoors. So now, more realistically, the palette is looking a little bit more like this for the ship, and that's normal. It's totally fine to change up the palette of a build like halfway through if you think it looks better. And it's totally normal, like, break stuff and like put it back and try different things. I raised the masts up a little bit, and I put a crow's nest here. You might be thinking, why don't you put like a ladder to get up on the mast? And that is because later on there's like a trick used to make it look even more like a real ship, where you put like barrier blocks like that kind of go up in like a triangular pattern, and then you put ladders on them on each side, and then you climb up those, and it looks like in real ships, like kind of how that does. With this piece on the front, I used to kind of smooth the mast so it wasn't so like there wasn't like corners like that. I used smooth red sandstone slabs, because I think it went with it better than planks. Planks have more lines, with the stripped logs are more smooth. Next thing is that I put like this front part on. I did some detailing. It's probably gonna need a little bit more definition like on the sides, because right now it's kind of flat. I did put this little bit of definition here, but it could use some more. Down in here we got that, but also I did not consider that. Okay, so put that on either side. Now there is a way to get down into the lower levels. Dang, that really didn't work too well. Alright, now there's a way to get down into the lower levels. And I did some more detailing there to get inside here. Oh, it looks like we made a mob farm by accident. And yeah, I put this part in. So that's how that is. Next thing is going to be the sails. And that is probably the biggest part. It takes like the most time, second only to the entire hull basically. And so I'm gonna do the triangular ones first, because those are harder. I'm just gonna cut to that, and I'm gonna explain to you like how I did it, the techniques I used, and that kind of thing. And then I'm just gonna do the sails that are like the big rectangles. So yeah, okay, so I'm back. I did not finish the triangle parts because I wanted to show you guys my method for doing this. And that is that I do the border first. What I'll do is, where I want each tip to be, I'll place down those blocks, and then I'll figure out a way to connect them up after and make it look nice. And these things can be really tricky, because like they've got to be like bending like and turning and like pointing in all different kinds of ways at the same time. So my advice for that is really just try your best and like just keep practicing it, because it really just takes a lot of practice. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and fill these in, and then I'm gonna get back to you. For you guys it's gonna be really fast, but for me it's gonna be like 10 minutes. Alright, see you then. Alright, I've filled in the sails. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put in the rectangular sails that go like there. So for these, for like the rectangular, like, I want to say horizontal, but that's not the right word. But for these like rectangular, less triangular, I guess it looks pretty round now, but for the rectangular ones, these are a lot easier than the triangular ones, which is why, so I recommend, if you're just starting out, like get a feel for making like the shapes for these ones first, and then like try practicing with the triangular ones. But with any sails, it's hard to make it look like there's air blowing into it. So I usually like pick a direction that I want the wind to be blowing. For this build, it's like that way is the way the wind is blowing, and then I build the sails like, alright, if the wind is blowing that way, how's it gonna like pick up in the sails? And I would say, so I'd start the sail not in the middle, but like a little way outwards, and have this kind of like come out so it looks like more realistic. And then I would have it so it kind of like it's like out here, there, and then it gradually like narrows in there, so it's like the wind is like the wind would get trapped there and push the boat forward. And then, but for the rectangular ones, you don't have to try to make it look like it's going, like the wind is blowing in two different directions. You just gotta pick one, and that's gonna be forward on almost all of them. What I try to stay away from just making them flat, like there's no wind, because, well, it just doesn't look good. And yeah, that's about it. It just doesn't look good. If I have a build where I don't want to like make it look like the wind is blowing, I'll just do something where I'll build like wool like that, and then I'll either take a trapdoor or a slab and put it along the bottom, so it looks like it's just tied up, like they just have the sails like rolled up and tied up on the top of the mast. But for this build, we're having like full wind is out. So yeah, all you really gotta do once you find your shape is just build it out as far in as you want it to go, and like that's about it. So I'm gonna go fill in the rest of them, and then I'll get back to you guys. Alright, so after doing all the sails, I was noticing it looked kind of like they look kind of plain and like a little bit cartoonish, especially when compared to like the sails with all the different definitions. So I was thinking like I might add some detail, and I wanted to do this while recording so you guys kind of see my thought process. So I think I might do something like that, like just add a little bit of depth and definition on the bottoms, if that works. How does that look? I think that definitely looks better. See, how does it look from here? Yeah, that looks better for sure. And then maybe we might even do like that maybe. Bring it out one more this way. Yeah, that definitely looks a lot better. Like, let's do a side-by-side comparison. Yeah, that one looks a lot better. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that to all the sails, make it look a little bit more like detailed and like have a little more curves. And then like it's not that hard. It just kind of takes some practice. It's a lot of like just looking to see if it looks right. There's not really any like right way to do it. It's just what looks good to you. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the rest of these now. Alright, and we're back. That was probably like a 2-minute fix, and it made it look so much better in my opinion. It still doesn't look like super good, but it's hard to make things, like I'm not super happy with it, but it's hard to make things like look, it's hard to make these sails look good when you got this big one in the middle. Usually it'd be like a big one like that goes all the way across, but it's sometimes fun to do like where I mix the two types of sails. It can be fun sometimes, and I'm doing it for this tutorial so I can show you how I do both kinds. So the sails are done. Now you might have noticed that none of the sails are actually touching, like they're not actually touching the masts or anything, even the triangle ones too. And there's a reason for that, and that is that there's a little thing called iron bars where it kind of looks like string, sorta, if you build with it the right way. And so that's what I'm going to be doing right now. But first, another trick I like to do is I put like slabs across the top of the not triangle, the rectangle squares, the rectangle sails. And I'm doing oak right now because it would be a little too much orange if I used acacia, and it like contrasts really well. It ties the whole thing together kind of if I use oak for this. I just put them along the top, and then afterwards I put like the bars. Like, gosh, these things are hard to place though, but like if you can pull it off, it looks really good. And then you can just kind of make it look like it's rope, like holding on to it. And so yeah, and then what you also want to do is you do the same thing. Same goes for like for all this, and then it makes it look a lot better. They don't need to be connecting. That's okay. If you want to make it connect, if you think that looks better, then go for it. But I'm fine without it. So I think this is the design for cannon that I'm gonna use. Pretty simple. I wanted to make it a little bit elaborate because it's kind of a fancy looking ship. And yeah, that's what I did. So I'm gonna do something different this time. I'm gonna do a time lapse of me just putting in all the detail on the ship. Like all of it. It's gonna be one great big time lapse. So yeah, let's get to it. time lapse, this thing is pretty much done. That's about all there is to it, I think. Now, I'm gonna give you a tour of what I did during the time lapse, in case you couldn't tell. So, I built all these cannons. I just realized I never built a way to get up here, so I'm just gonna do that real quick. It's kind of fun. I always like to put villagers in my builds, like to bring it to life and make it more fun. And then once they have professions, like you can make them look like how you want. So I tried to make them all look like sailors. But anyway, so there's some cannons up here. Shoot, I totally forgot to build like the steering wheel up here. Alright, I'm gonna do that real quick. Don't judge me, please. Alright, there we go. Steering wheel. So we've got this steering wheel up here, some more cannons, that sail, and then we've even got a little lifeboat here that's hanging off the back, connected with like the chains. And then let's head back down. Right here, this would be like the planning room. There's a lot of villagers in here. This would be like the planning room. Look, they're all crowded around the keg. Here, get out of the way. I want to show everybody. They're all crowded around the keg. Oh man, we got cats spawning here too now. This is great. They're all crowded around the keg. We've got like maps here. Actually, I just got an idea to make it look better. These just goes to show you can always improve your builds. So there's like all maps and stuff. Look, we've even got a map of the ship right there. You can't see the whole thing, but you can see a good chunk of it. And we've got some barrels. I used a composter to look like a barrel, like that's upright. And then we've got like these barrels over here. In the time lapse, you might be able to see, I was trying to make a barrel. Or basically, the idea is that you take like, you put a trapdoor there, then one like around. This was before Village and Pillage. This came out like during the aquatic update, before there were actual barrels. And then you waterlog that one. Whoops. Then you waterlog that one, and it looks like there's water in a barrel. But yeah. I might actually just leave that there. And then if we go through here, you can see the captain's quarters. There's like a little desk over here, a little potted bamboo, a chair, and we've got like some bookshelves over here where the captain would just like sit and look out the window while they're sailing with like, this is supposed to be like a cup with like coffee or something in it on like a table with the bookshelves. And this is like his desk where like he'd stand like plotting the courses and stuff. And this is his bed, or his or her bed. I don't know who the captain is, but all these villagers look like dudes to me, so I don't know. And this is the shelf with a chest and a barrel. And some beds. I put some signs around the beds to give it like a border, so it doesn't like fall off as the ship is rocking back and forth during the night. And then if we go down here, we've got a second layer of cannons. Look, this guy's manning the cannon. He's ready to go. He says, just tell me when, sir, I'll do it. So I built a different design for these cannons because there's not really enough space to do that elaborate design from before. So I used like this. I put them on the ground, and then there's like trapdoors there. They're meant to stay open though. I'm so happy we got cats spawning on the boat. And then if we go down here, this is like the living quarters. There's like a table in the middle with some plates and some cups. I kind of hid these smithing tables in the back because the Minecraft wiki told me that weaponsmiths have eye patches. I was like, that's perfect. Speaking of which, I should put a parrot down. And but yeah, it didn't actually work. I said Plains weaponsmiths have uh-oh, zombies. Uh-oh. Hearing zombie noises. But, yeah, they should be Plains villagers, but they don't have eye patches. And then, down here's the storage room. There's some, like, chests and barrels in the front, and then just piles of TNT. Some more parrots. I'm just overloading this thing with mobs, but, yeah, it's pretty funny. Actually, for a sec, let's just forgive me. Just so you can appreciate, I felt really bad for that. Just so you can appreciate the build, like without any mobs. Once that giant blob, alright, there we go. This is what it looks like empty. It's a little more peaceful this way. You can actually see all this stuff. And yeah. So that is this guide complete. And I'll see you guys in the next video.